Hello and welcome in. I am Miss Kinghorn and we are back here in The Sims 4 and today we are back in Tartosa and more specifically in the Terra Amorosa neighbourhood. I'm not entirely sure I'm pronouncing that right and I'm probably 90% sure I'm saying it wrong. Anyhow, we are back here. This is the 30 by 30 lot up there where we are building a Moroccan inspired and styled home. This was actually a fun one to do. So a lot of you know I have been battling builder's block and I have been trying to find different ways and different kind of solutions to how to build through this. I came across a series of images of like houses from around the world, and I thought, you know what, why not see what we can do, and so here we are. We are starting off in Morocco. I'm hesitant to say this is a new series or a new collection. It may just be 1, 2, I'm not putting a number on it, but this is the image of what we're working on, which I thought looked quite big until I got it into game. Now, we don't do the basement section, we do the pool and kind of the courtyard and stuff like that, but we don't do kind of the sub-basement area, which I think probably made it look slightly bigger than what it is, but we get all of the kind of above ground area up, and yeah, that's what we're building. That's the image I was working off of, and I've got to be honest, Pinterest, Google images were my friends for this build because I've not really delved a lot into this kind of style of housing. So I kind of had to rely quite a lot on images and references from other sort of places that normally I kind of do suburban homes. I might do the odd little kind of 1 or 2 that's maybe a little bit different. Obviously I have a huge love of architecture and kind of historical builds. Those I know. This kind of thing, not so much. So yeah, very much inspired by what I found online. But I think I managed to kind of copy the image and pull it off quite well. I will let you be the judge. Let me know down below what you think. Now, we are calling it a Moroccan Courtyard. That's just what the image showed it was, or said it was going to be. I'm not necessarily taking it as 100% guarantee that that's what it is. It could obviously be from anywhere in sort of that region over there as well, so I'm kind of loosely basing it, let's put it that way, in here. But I think we are starting to kind of come together with all of this. So as you can see, we're putting in the pool. It looks quite small, this pool. Well, it looks big, but in the size of the lot, it's actually quite small. So we did end up having to use some fun kind of bits and pieces around it, because this lot is actually a lot bigger than what I thought, but also the house had to be a lot bigger than what I thought it was going to be. So I ended up having to kind of play around and kind of work out from windows and things like that I didn't necessarily think I was going to have to do in here as well. But working on this sort of courtyard pool area at the beginning, we've got this gorgeous sort of courtyard area where I spent a lot of my time working on this and getting in lots of sort of pot plants and these gorgeous sort of banana plants. I think that's what they actually are, looking at the leaves, but and lots of palms and things like that. And I think they all kind of add that little something that maybe individually they don't really work, but together they kind of add a really nice kind of collection all in there, and it just works really, really well in there, because obviously the terrain and the soil is so dry. That's normally why they use kind of potted plants and things like that, and the image had quite a few of them, so ended up kind of putting in lots all around the place, and it kind of breaks it all up as well, and it softens a lot of the things down in there as well. Some sun lounges, and I wanted a nice big sort of dining table out here. We do also get a barbecue area out here as well, so that they can cook lots of different things on there as well. Kind of tuck it around this sort of nook here that we actually kind of make into a bit of a kind of redundant kind of corridor area. There's nothing really major that goes on there. You'll sort of see as we do all of this. There seems to be a lot of empty, wasted space in this build. That was kind of intentional and unconventional. So I built the floor plan, I built the shell, then I did the landscaping, then I had to come in and retrofit the floor plan in. Yeah, any builders out there will know just how difficult that actually is. So I was like, oh, this could be a family home, maybe we could have like some teenagers, or we can do, you know, this is a 1-bedroom. I could have made it a 2-bedroom and had a downstairs bedroom, but I chose to have that more as sort of entertainment space, which there is quite a lot of in this house, but I feel like it maybe is somewhere that they would kind of go. It would be like the gathering point, because maybe they've got the biggest garden or the biggest courtyard in this case, and like you could have all of the family over here, but then they wanted their privacy, and so it's just sort of a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom place in here. So yeah, that's kind of what I was working with in here on my head, of how to fit this and how to make this make a little bit more sense in here. And I did try when I was doing this to create an internal staircase. It just didn't work. For whatever reason, there is not enough space in this huge build to get a staircase inside. So they do have to come out and then go up, but I think it works, and we've kind of made it a little bit more kind of secluded up there, and maybe an area where nobody kind of dares go other than those who are living in this house in here. And now working on some sort of soft little landscaping. So there was kind of these areas onto the sides of these where you had these sort of big shrubs and things like that. And I did zoom in on the image and try to work out different bits and pieces and try and copy it as closely as I can. Sometimes I take images and just kind of roughly build it. Other times I really do try to kind of copy everything down, which I think I really did in here, mainly because I wasn't 100% sure on what I really wanted to go in here and what really needed to go in here. But I think these sort of soft, nice areas, lots of palms, lots of kind of small leafed kind of planting in here, whether it's like the ferns, bananas. I think those sorts of plants work perfectly in this sort of space, and I feel like it really adds a nice little touch to all of this. So now, as you can see, we have jumped onto the inside of this, and you can sort of see the issues I'm having with this. So we needed to get a 3-level platform, because that's how we've done the stairs on the outside, because that's what's in the image. What's not in any of the images is the floor plan, or the interior, or anything that could possibly help me here. So I am flying blind with the interior of this, and so I kind of created this nice little entranceway where you can kind of come down each side, and then I wanted an open sort of space, but I also wanted kind of some closed in smaller sort of rooms. So using these sort of columns and spandrels, I've kind of created a bit of a crosshatch kind of section, at least in here, and it does look quite good from above. Gameplay wise, I'm not sure how annoying that would be, sorry about that. In here, but now we're working on the living area. So this is kind of an all-in-one kind of room, which I feel is probably not realistic, but it's what I could really get in to here. So I wanted a sort of nice plush sofas, kind of some darker wood. We've obviously got that dark wood coming in with the windows, but I wanted to sort of bring that through. Gorgeous tiled flooring. I've done that in all of the downstairs of this, just because I think it's something that would, like, it's kind of like a mosaic kind of flooring, and I thought that would be perfect for what I really wanted to get across in here. And to say that the images on like Google were amazing when it came to actually working out how this all works, kind of what layout, sofas, kind of furniture wise that we really got into here as well. And yeah, I think together it all really sort of works and comes together nicely, but I'll let you be the judge. So I'm going through and adding more cushions to these sofas because they didn't look plump enough for what I kind of wanted. I do actually change these sofas out and I get rid of these cushions completely. And I wasn't 100% sure I wanted a TV in here, but I felt like one that was kind of like a piece of artwork that could also double as a TV. I think that kind of is okay in here because it's not quite so obvious that it's a blank sort of black screen when not in use. So I think it's a little bit more hidden and a little bit more neutral in here with this sort of a plush space. But as I say, I wanted nice dark wood kind of assets coming in from like the tables, the chairs and things like that in here. And obviously this mirror is gorgeous in here as well. But now we're going to work over on the dining room, which is kind of in the middle section here. And as I say earlier, I wanted this to be a really nice space where you could kind of entertain, and there's lots of like family gatherings and things like that, and like lots of people would all come to this house for birthdays or any other sort of event like that as well. So I figured a nice sort of 6-seater sort of dining table in here, some sort of candles on there, and then I have placed some roses, which I absolutely love. These kind of new roses. They're in like little vases. They're actually from Lovestruck, but they look so perfect. I think they're one of the ones you can like gift to your partner and stuff. They're just in sort of that category, so I thought it would really work nicely in here on that sort of table. And I do that quite a lot as kind of like cut flowers. I feel like a lot of the flowers that we have in game are kind of like in soil and things like that, where these ones feel like they are kind of cut and they're that you've gone out and specifically bought these flowers for the event in here as well. And now we've actually placed in some more in here, bringing in that sort of red kind of tones through this build as well. And now welcome to the world's largest kitchen space. I didn't know where to put the kitchen. I did think it could go in the middle, but in the end decided that here would be a good spot. So yes, this is ridiculous. I was planning on turning part of this into a downstairs kind of bathroom area, except I had to stop recording for something or other, and then by the time I got back into it, I had forgotten all about it. So yeah, down technically where this sort of door is, I don't know if you can actually just see the red shelf in the corner, that was going to be a downstairs loo. I changed that. And you're going to see it here because I decided a really nice sort of internal kind of fireplace in here would work really, really well and kind of provide the kind of grandeur I think this space needed in here. So I'm thinking maybe cooking on an open fire, kind of like maybe a pizza oven or kind of like flatbread, something like that in here, those kind of things. Obviously in game we can't do that, but just trying to add that sort of a realistic kind of element in here as well. And I think it works perfectly kind of colour wise, style wise in here as well. And you might be able to tell we have jumped ahead a little bit in here to the kind of decorating of the kitchen. So you have avoided me scrolling around and round and round and round trying to find all these pieces. They're my go-to, and yet again a lot of them are actually from the new kitchen clutter kit. I still am loving that kit, and I don't think I'm ever going to stop. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I'm going to stop loving that kit. It works in here really well, and it just shows how kind of useful that kind of pack is, that it can be used any and everywhere. I think I've used it pretty much exclusively in the kitchens for like the last 3-4 builds in here. And yeah, talking of packs, we have a new one coming out soon. We also have a massive sale on for EA, and we also have a Frontier sale on as well. So there are huge savings to be had. I know the Frontier one is up to 95% off. I think the Sims ones, some of the packs are 60%, I think. So yeah, if you are missing 1 or 2 packs, then definitely go and check them out in here. But for now, we are working on this sort of a space in here. Now, this is one thing that I said could be another bedroom if you wanted to kind of change all of this out. I've kind of just screened the entranceway off a little bit in here. When I play tested this, they kind of were inside, so they didn't actually use that archway a lot. So it could just be that that screen needed to be kind of moved back slightly. But you have this kind of nice little bubble blower. I think that's what it was. It's from City Living, so it's a very, very kind of old object in here. But I think it just kind of adds to that nice little glow. I'm feeling that this is maybe a room where they would go kind of entertain, kind of have maybe like friends, family, business people over, that kind of thing. Because I feel like this family would be quite wealthy to kind of own something of this sort of like grandeur, and kind of to have the pool, to have the gorgeous courtyard, the big sort of family space in there. I feel like they're kind of somewhat important in their own kind of little head in there. Now, you might have noticed that some of the outside kind of tiling has changed. I looked at the image again, and I wasn't entirely sure. I wasn't happy with the floor the way we had done it, so I have used these kind of black tiles that we said for the stairs, and what I've actually got downstairs, I've kind of just lined those on the outside as well, so it's a little bit more different than kind of originally. But we're now jumping upstairs into this kind of little weird little space in here that I kind of felt like I had something in it, but I didn't really know what, and I thought a nice little home office in here. When I say little, it is tiny and it is cramped, but I think it gets the whole sort of job done in here. So I've got a little computer in here. I feel like maybe from working from home or kind of working on the weekends, that sort of thing, for business meetings and things like that. Now, I do actually place a sort of an outdoor sofa kind of bench thing on the back side of that. I do that actually off camera, because I kind of forget that we have that space until right at the very end in here. But now we're working on this section over here, which is kind of the bathroom bedroom area. The bedroom is huge. I could have cut it into 2, but I wasn't really sure how, because you've got like big archways at the top of the stairs and out to the terrace. You've got windows are kind of set in place by the image, and then you also got another doorway that leads out to kind of the passageway that goes over to the office. So I kind of figured we'll just have one very large kind of open bedroom in here, and I think that all kind of worked in here. It is huge, and we basically get another little sort of living area in here as well, but you also see that in there. But here's a bathroom. I felt like this house is a little bit different to my normal ones, so I figured I will show you a nice big bathroom in here. We have got a bath and a kind of walk-in shower space with a little bit of sort of privacy around that corner, but I haven't separated the sort of toilet space off because there just really wasn't space. Although it is huge, there isn't that much space when you think of windows and this sort of shower space in here. So I kind of had to play around a little bit and kind of mix things together in there to get the toilet in here, but using the sleek bathroom kit, which I am still loving. It works perfectly for what I really wanted in here. and then just lots of sort of clutter around the place, towels, toothpaste, and all of that just working really nicely. And I do change that bath out. I kind of wanted one that would fit in, kind of be a little bit more neutral, but kind of matching with the taps and stuff. We don't have one that worked perfectly, so I've kind of had to change it out, and now I think the one is from Business and Hobbies, which I've got to be honest, I kind of forget now that we have that bath. It looks so similar to the one from Sleek bathroom that I kind of mistake the two, but yeah, we've changed it all over, and now we're into this humongous bedroom in here. It's so big I've had to place hallway tables behind the bed. I wanted a kind of a nice sort of shelving unit in here, and I figured this would be a really nice kind of area where you could put like plants and like some sculptures and things like that behind it, and then have what is technically a sort of a footstool kind of seat has your actual kind of bedside table, so it's a little bit closer to the actual bed, where you could place like your cups and like little details and things like that that we use in here. But I do put out quite a lot of bits and pieces for this sort of back section in here, and also got the bits of artwork on the wall as well. So and using tool, I have sort of changed the angle of one of them and scaled it all up, and I think it actually kind of works really well as kind of like a wall decoration that way. Obviously it is tooled in and rotated from what it normally is, and I quite like it actually. It fits this sort of space really well, and with the kind of white sort of or off-white walls, I think it just changes how all of this really works in here, especially when downstairs is all kind of pinky, kind of salmony kind of colour, up here being a little bit more sort of neutral and things like that as well. And I didn't want to kind of set out that it had to be a kind of particular sim or a particular kind of person who lives here. I kind of, although yes, I've kind of inspired it by that photo, the interior is probably completely and utterly wrong. All I had was that outside image and then just kind of rolled with it. But yeah, so obviously you can have whoever you want living here. I have done it for a kind of young couple in here who maybe have come from money and kind of are in the business kind of career, but they're like, they've not earned their place. It's kind of more of a hereditary kind of, dad built the company so son's taken over, that kind of thing is more what I'm thinking in here as to how they've been able to afford this huge house in here. And I'm trying to find like a footstool kind of ottoman at the bottom here, and we do end up with this grey one. I'm not entirely sure I like it, but it was the best we had. I feel like we haven't had one of those for a while, and to be fair, I kind of forget that we actually have them because they're not in here with the living area stuff. They're kind of in like that little subcategory, like tucked away and hidden. So I feel like they're almost sort of forgotten about in here. But now, as I say, we have such a huge space up here. We end up with another sort of seating area in here, which I'm used to decorating huge rooms, I have to be honest, but this was taking it to another level in here. So we have a 3-seater sofa and 2 armchairs and a big coffee table, and we get in a big plant. Like, yeah, this is big up here, and yeah, it feels kind of okay up here. We do get in 2 dressers and then also a kind of little hammock chair in the corner here. And now we're going to work on this sort of top patio up here, where I feel like it's maybe a little bit more private. They can come up maybe in the evening when it's just the 2 of them. They just want to have a secluded little time. But that is all for today. If you have enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my channel. But I will see you next week. Bye everyone!